Kenny Pickett takes the podium yesterday. It was a busy day for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Very, very busy day for the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is what happens when you cram everything into 48 hours. Kenny Pickett says yesterday that he is for sure playing on Thursday night against the Titans, does not care about the injury. He says that right now, trying to get some torque in a throw is when it hurts the most, but he'll be able to throw it well enough for the team to win. That's what he said. The Steelers yesterday held what they called an intense walkthrough. That was their practice. It was not a full-blown practice. They will go through a full practice today, and then we'll get the practice report. I would imagine that Kenny Pickett pops up as questionable, if I had to guess, or no injury tag at all. But I think for sure they will at least give him an opportunity to go into tomorrow. They're not going to shut him down no matter how bad today goes for him. And nobody's allowed to be there. There's no media presence. There's no nothing. These are players and coaches. They will see and get the final results without anybody watching. Says he's going to play. Says he can't throw a football or he could throw a football well enough, but that's when it hurts the most. I mean, concerning what are your thoughts when I think there's a lot of ways, a lot of emotions to feel when you heard that. What were your thoughts?
Well, I am concerned that the quarterback experiences a lot of pain, the worst pain, when he throws the football.
Yes.
I'm concerned because that is like his primary job.
It is number one in the job duties.
Well, and if this was like, I don't even know, what's a team that like runs the ball like 60 or 70% of the time? Like,
Cleveland.
Cleveland, yeah. If this was Cleveland, like, and if you could just hand it off to Jerome Ford and Kareem Hunt, 50 times a game, that'd be awesome. Like, I'd be like, okay, that's fine. We can work with this.
Yes.
But I don't know. I don't think the Steelers are built to win with a quarterback who can't get a little zip on the throw, can't look deep. This is a problem. This is a real problem, I think. You kind of just got to hope that Kenny feels much better over the next 48 hours. 48 hours.
Yeah,
give or take.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, whatever.
36 to just about,
a day or two.
Yeah.
You gotta hope that he figures it out and feels somewhat better, because this is everything. Like, throwing is significant for a quarterback. I don't know how else to put it. Like, if you're experiencing tons of pain every time you throw it, I have a hard time believing that you'll be able to throw it well enough to beat an NFL defense, like, of any kind. I don't get that at all.
No, it's concerning. Look, I know that in the NFL there's a little vitamin T shot you could take. You could take a cortisone shot. There are ways to get things injected into your body where that rib pain doesn't pop up until Friday morning. It's more so of like, how good are you physically? I get that there's no pain, but there's still some restrictions. Nobody's like, oh, well, my rib has a bunch of damage to it, and which there's no structural damage, which is huge, but my rib is in a ton of pain, and I'm going to get hit like maybe 2 or 3 times during this game, and it's not going to come back. Like, that's when it becomes very concerning for me. And I just think that, look at Kenny. If Kenny says he's going to play, cool. I believe that he's going to play. I believe that he's confident in himself enough. I also think that, to a degree, business decisions have to be made. Mitch has to be, if I'm the Steelers, Mitch is preparing to start. Kenny starts if he could on game day, but Mitch is ready to go in there because I would just anticipate that at some point Mitch has to enter the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I also, like, that's my question is he like one hit away from?
That's what I mean.
From getting knocked out? Like, this thing feels real precarious. And like you said, I appreciate Kenny being tough and all that, but I don't know, like, toughness for toughness sake doesn't do anyone any good. If you're not ready to go, and if you're not able to play at your best, then being tough isn't exactly a bonus. It's not exactly something that we should be happy about, because, if you're playing through enough pain that it hampers your ability to throw, then and that's clearly what it, like, he said he'll be able to throw well enough for this team to win. That's not I'm going to be able to throw normally, and like his
Very
And
concerning answer.
and we have not been impressed by his normal throwing even when he's healthy. So like
No.
it continues to be diminishing returns on his arm, and it's just, man, it's real concerning. And like toughness, like I said, only gets you so far when that's the case.
Yeah, and I think it's different. Like if you're Lamar Jackson or I don't know any of these mobile Jalen Hurts, where you do as much damage on the ground as you do through the air. Like I get it, you want to go out there and you say, hey, I could do enough. Like, okay, cool. Like I believe it because you could go make plays with your feet or with your legs and continue to carry an offense. Kenny hasn't done that. Kenny's not a running quarterback. He's got the ability to run, but he's not a running quarterback, and that limits him to throwing the football, which, again, like you said, we haven't been super impressed with. Now you're going to limit that even more. The bigger question, how much of the playbook is now limited because Kenny can't do everything that he's supposed to do? I think it's very concerning. I get that from the Pittsburgh Steelers standpoint, you want your starting quarterback out there. I get that it makes things a lot easier, especially on a short week. To some degree, as bad as Mitch has been at times, I think you're taking less risk and limiting yourself a little less if Mitch is your starting quarterback on Thursday. That being said, though, Kenny goes out there and he's feeling real good off those. I don't know what shots they give you in the NFL these days. They switch up, but whatever shot they slap in his rib, if he takes one, this is all speculation. If they slap a shot in his rib and he's feeling A-okay for 4 hours, cool. No worries there. But if there's any pain, I mean, I think it could be a little worrisome. There's also the storyline of Kenny Pickett versus Will Levis, who will, that will obviously explode, and everybody's going to make a huge deal out of that one because Kenny Pickett drafted last year. Will Levis comes in here last week, lights up the boards, 4 touchdowns for the Titans. They look alive again. People are going to be comparing them all night long. Now, do you look at it as an asterisk? Do you look at this as like Kenny's playing hurt, so whatever, or do you think it actually, do you think it actually puts more of a damper and more of a concern on there if Kenny goes out there, plays poorly, and Levis lights up the board?
I think you can spin this however you want. If Kenny stinks, man, he was hurt. He never had a chance. This is. But if he plays really well, then you're all over it, and Kenny's the best thing ever. I don't know if will there be many comparisons between Levis and Pickett, just because Pickett was drafted the year before. Like the Steelers were going to take him. It's not like they were waiting on Will Levis to come up. And
I feel like the young quarterback thing. That's what. Yeah. Because Rappaport said it, or maybe it was Schefter. As soon as Kenny said it, somebody quote tweeted Brooke Pryor's tweet saying that he was going to play and said Pickett versus Levis. And I went, oh, okay, people care about this. Because I was with you. I felt like 2 different draft classes, but I guess 2 young quarterbacks, the future of their franchises, maybe that's where people go with it.
Yeah, I guess, I understand that part. But I think when you frame it like that, it's always we could, if Kenny doesn't play well and Levis does, it's we could have had this guy. And I don't know if that's necessarily true. That's I think that's my point, is that this isn't, there'll be comparisons obviously, but it's not like it's not like a what? It's not, I don't
Bryce
know.
versus Stroud.
Yeah, it's not a situation where you could have had either guy and you went with one and you picked the wrong guy. This is just another young quarterback. So you still do look at it and say, oh man, maybe we shouldn't have invested in this quarterback. Maybe there were other better quarterbacks that we maybe should have waited on. But if you're the Steelers in the situation they were in when they were in a position to draft Kenny, I don't know if you go in any different direction, right? You're not picking another position saying, okay, we'll get our quarterback next year,
Yeah.
It seemed like Kenny was their guy all the way through.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's tough to compare quarterback on quarterback. I do think it puts Kenny in a little bit of a corner if he plays bad, because now that's 2 young, I guess 3, because Brock Purdy, 3 young quarterbacks that he has looked really bad against, and even if he doesn't, because he did look bad against Stroud. He looked real bad against San Francisco. If he looks bad against Tennessee, that's 3 young quarterbacks who have come in here and look good against the Steelers. Meanwhile, their young quarterback looks terrible. Trevor Lawrence is another one. Yeah, exactly. And I get it. Trevor's different, but he's still in that category of these are the guys that are going to build these are where, like, this is the next generation of the NFL. This is who the Steelers have. Steelers guy isn't holding up with these other guys. I think that storyline could certainly be there, which could be super concerning. I think that anytime you're going to play a young quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, that is the assessment is, okay, well, Kenny either looked really good and looked like he could compete against this team for the next 10 years, or it looked like the Houston Texans are going to own the Pittsburgh Steelers for the next however long, or the Jacksonville Jaguars are a huge threat to the Steelers in the playoffs for however long, like, or God forbid you meet San Francisco in the Super Bowl. There's no chance there because Brock Purdy and Kenny Pickett just aren't on the same level. I think those could be concerning, for the Steelers, but I agree with you. Like, it's not a one-on-one comparison. It's more just like,
yeah,
Kenny has another opportunity to either improve his stock or drastically hurt it. And the more he hurts it, even with an injury, concerning. Definitely concerning for the Pittsburgh Steelers.